here, on the very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian. And joining me, as always, is your co-host, Spaz.
Ambitious as always.
Your co-host, Julie.
Hello from the great greening north.
It's springtime. And no other place do you appreciate springtime than a place that has actual seasons. Your co-host, Thorsten.
Yeah, hello from freezing Germany.
Is it still freezing there?
It's
chilly.
cold. It's cold, chilly, yeah.
Oh, man. Your co-host, Jacob. Is it chilly there, too?
Shit for the moon. And if you miss, your frozen corpse will be a monument to your failure.
And your co-host, David.
I was frozen today. Who gave us this snow again?
Oh, really?
Please stop it.
Very chill, freaking cold-based intro we got going on there.
Yeah, I suppose.
It sounds like it's very cold in Europe today. Very cold.
It's chilly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's chilly here too. It's in the 50s, maybe the 60s Fahrenheit. It's cold
Fahrenheit.
here too.
I was gonna say. No. 50s, really?
If it was
No,
chilly.
no,
not Celsius.
no,
We'd be dead.
Kelvin.
We'd be dead. We'd be dead.
Yeah,
in the 60s.
It's California. It's Kelvin, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it gets warm in Cali, but this much?
Not that
Hey,
warm.
wait a second. Isn't California spelled with a C? Isn't that Celsius?
It's not that warm. So, friends, we have kind of a nebulous, weird topic. This was my idea for a topic, and I hope it's a good one. I can't guarantee it will be, but I hope it's a good one. It was my idea for a topic. We're going to talk about indie developers and their games that we find particularly ambitious. Hardworking, ambitious, shooting for the moon, as Jacob said, that sort of thing. Because, we love our indie developers. We love all of them, good and bad. We love that they're trying to make things that entertain us. But there are some that we want to single out for maybe being androids, because we don't know if they sleep or something. Like some of these developers, it's very confusing because they'll just be update after update after patch, and we're like, when do you eat? And the developer that made me think of this is the developer of Spaceborne 1 and 2, which is what's on the stream right now, because they're a Turkish developer, I believe. They do this part-time. Their full-time job is a lawyer. Thank you, Thorsten, for finding that wonderful tidbit out. I'm not going to try and...
Well, it's on their website. It's not subtle.
It's fair. I'm not going to try and say their name because I'd ruin it, and I don't want to... I don't want to be that guy. But Spaceborne 1 was already very ambitious. I remember one particular patch note for Spaceborne 1 that said, "Oh, we just added a dynamic economy." Like it was like the most mundane thing in the world. Like, just added a dynamic economy. Like, what? It was just a patch note.
And to clarify, the developer is one Mr. Burak Dabak, which is an immensely funny name if you're Polish, and a perfectly reasonable name if you're anyone else.
Okay, I appreciate you saying the name, trying to say the name properly, and not me. Thank you, because I would probably ruin it. Again, I'm Polish. There is no language in the world I cannot properly pronounce it with enough effort. Like I have seen things you people wouldn't believe.
I will need you later.
Oh god, not this again.
Okay,
Right, so Spaceborne.
Yeah.
right. So Spaceborne 2 is proving to be even more ambitious than the first. I think one of his recent patch notes was like, "Oh, we just added diplomacy to your faction. Like, in this game, you get your own faction eventually."
That's a thing.
And you can engage in diplomacy with any of the other factions in the game, which includes alliances and trade and all this stuff. And this is a first/third person space adventure game that also has a Crusader King style element to it. My God. Go ahead.
We're just going to skip over the fact that it has both competent space combat and janky, but also still competent ground combat on foot.
Yeah.
And it completely seamless on both ends.
Oh yeah, and also it also mixes the two because you can be on a space station and suddenly, oh, that space station's being attacked by pirates. Oh no. And suddenly there might be pirates at your space station that you have to shoot. And then
Something that the funny game we won't mention has been trying to get right for a decade.
we can mention Star Citizen. We can mention Star Citizen.
Something that Star Citizen
Don't mention it.
I already did.
Has been trying to get right for a freaking decade.
Like the last time I played Star Citizen, which is admittedly a couple of years ago, I remember I fell through the spaceship. I was on a spaceship. I was
Literally.
Yeah, I was standing in the back of a spaceship. It was going at warp, and I fell out of it. I clipped through it. It's like, guys, you got some work to do here. But I mean, Spaceborne 2 is still got some issues. Like it's got a EVE Online style scanning thing that is actually more complicated than EVE Online, which
is impressive.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying that in a positive way. I think it's too complicated. It like planets still have missing things. Like if you go to a city on a planet, there's nothing to do there. So it's still got things that are missing. You know, it's not done, but I've just been impressed with the amount of work this guy puts into this series, and he took a lot of what was janky and inefficient from the first game and has really streamlined it in the second one. And it's just like he actually listened to player feedback and has made, I would say, a much, much better game in the second one. I'd say even in early access, it's insanely playable, you know, and it's only like $15 for God's sakes. Like you have to spend what, 3 times that much to get into Star Citizen, and there's not as much gameplay here. What is it, like $45 to buy into Star Citizen, I think, and this has more gameplay. And I in my Steam review of this of Spaceborne 2, I said, why would you play Star Citizen when you would just play this? And I got crap about it. I'm like, well, I mean, it's kind of obvious. This game is trying to do all the things that Star Citizen wants to do. And because it's not trying to do an MMO, he's kept it manageable and is succeeding. You know? So my hat's off to this guy, whose name I'm not going to say.
Mr. Beetroot.
He's a great dev. If you go on his Discord, he's very responsive. I don't know how he has all the time, because he's a freaking lawyer. But apparently he has the time to dedicate to this. Maybe he only sleeps. Like there are people who only need a few hours of sleep a night, like 2 or 3 hours. There are people that's a thing, right? Maybe he's one of those people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. Maybe he naps a lot during the day. Maybe he works from home, or maybe he's a freelance lawyer and he naps a lot I don't know. But that is my first pick for ambitious indie developers. Spaz, you got one?
Yes, I do, actually. The game I'm currently playing as we're talking, because it's just a Zen game for me. Hello Games of No Man's Sky fame. Yeah, it's strange to mention them as ambitious in this case.
I would
but it fits.
They feel like an indie to me. Yeah, they feel like an indie to me.
Well, they are indie.
Yeah.
They are indie. That's not in question. I think it's just the fact that they launched No Man's Sky the way they did, and that didn't go so great. Even though I loved the game at the onset and still do, but they have been just. I would say prolific in not just the number of updates, but how frequently they put them out. They did their 9th expedition earlier this year, and just a couple months later, they're putting out another update, which just launched today as we're recording this, which has added not just the ability to fly as the Sentinel ships. You can just repair one, which I just did, in fact, just before the show started. But you can also, let's just say, upset the Sentinels enough so that they send a capital ship after you, and then you can take out the capital ship now. That's a thing that you can do now that you could not do before.
Dear Lord. That is, that is definitely an impressive thing.
And it's on Switch.
Yeah, how they got it on Switch, I have no freaking idea.
I
But
think it was like a deal with the devil or something. I think somebody had to sell their soul to get it on Switch.
there are some ports that have come to Switch that I don't know. Like, that's one of them. I don't know how they put Wreckfest on the Switch. I don't know how they put The Witcher 3 on the Switch, but my God, they have really crammed some impressive ports onto that damn.
Wait, Witcher 3? That thing still has issues running on my modern day jacked out to hell PC.
Apparently,
How does it run on a Switch at all?
Apparently, it's
And-
really good on the Switch.
It is. It runs smooth. It's just, it's great. It's great.
I'm impressed, genuinely.
I know.
Very impressive.
But yeah,
Okay, now the granted,
Huh?
but some of the graphics are not as good as on your PC.
Well,
but,
sure.
You know, runs
Well, sure.
great.
But
And there's no multiplayer, but that's, again, a concession that makes sense
Right.
for the platform.
I actually got No Man's Sky on the Switch, and that's where I've been primarily playing it of late. And it is fantastic on the Switch. And you would worry that load times would be horrendous, and they're not terrific, but they're not as bad as you would think for basically a portable universe. You know, I gotta say, kudos to whoever ported that damn thing over to the Switch, because my God.
See, my question is, and I haven't, believe it or not, I haven't bought it on the Switch yet, but
Yes.
my question is, like the PC version, do they have all the 200 and something universes, or is it just the one?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. It doesn't have the multiplayer.
As far as I know, it does. As far as I know, they've got all of the various galaxies in there. What the Nexus missions have been added from the last I heard. I mean, I don't have a Switch, so I can't say with 100%
I believe they
but
have.
I heard.
I believe they have. Yeah.
Yeah, they added the Nexus was not in, and they added that back in. And so Nexus missions are a thing.
Yeah. The Switch has plenty to it.
Well, I never got past the 5th universe, and then somebody told me I said, there are how many universes? Oh, 200 and something. I said, I'll never make it.
That'll be a while.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick, because my God, they have worked. So the way they've turned that whole thing around, No Man's Sky, is just, I think, one of the best stories in all of gaming. Honestly, it's one of the most positive stories in all of gaming. Yeah, like, period. Like all of it. Like the entire history of video gaming. I think it's one of the most positive stories in its entirety. It's just been, because my God, the crap they got when it launched, and now the work they've put in, you know, it's just such a wonderful Cinderella story.
It is to their credit that they went head down and sort of radio silent as we're working on everything that was not working at launch or not up to spec at launch, I should say. And then they started putting out big updates, and then more updates, and then huge content stuff, and then the expeditions, and expanding the combat systems, the flight model, the procedural generation. It's all so much better than it was then, and I liked it back then. I like it even more now.
Yeah, it's become a really impressive thing, and I have to say I appreciate that they put in that creative mode for people like me who don't want to mine and stuff and just want to putz around and fly around. And
Oh,
stuff.
you can even customize things in the normal mode of the game where you customize your survival settings. So if you want to be able to take no damage, you can totally do that in normal mode. You don't have to. You can, but you can tweak how dangerous you want the world to be.
Right. That's pretty cool too. But I don't even want to mod at all. I don't want to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And there's nothing to say anything against people who want to play in creative mode either.
Right. And I love that that's an option. I love that it pretty much has all the same gameplay beats without the thing I don't want, which is really nice. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I really do appreciate that. So Julie, who's your first ambitious indie you want to talk about?
Okay, well, I'm almost embarrassed to say it has absolutely nothing to do with space.
That's fine. That's fine. It doesn't have to do it.
I will link it. There's their company. And the person who I am lauding here in this particular case is Eric. Now, forgive me if I don't pronounce the last name right. I don't know if it's Baron or Baroni, but Eric Concerned Ape Baroni. And I wonder how he got the name Concerned Ape. And it was just like, well, thanks to Luke from the Discord server, who said he just had to find something, and well, he liked the way it sounded. So it was like 42. And so it was just something that started out as he got out of college and he needed something to put on his resume, and he started this little game, and ultimately, he started to Valley. It started out as I think it was like Sprout Valley, and ultimately Chucklefish got involved, and then they put it on mobile versions, Android versions, Steam. It reached a point where it sold 20 million copies. And at first it kind of put me off because everybody said, oh, this is great, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And I said, okay, well, I'm the second generation off the farm. And at first I found it off-putting because it was like, somebody in my family once wanted to move out to the countryside when they retire. And I said, well, send me a postcard. And so, but when you start playing this during the pandemic, that's why the Animal Crossing took over. And the guy who made Animal Crossing said he was by himself on the other side of Japan, and he said he wanted a game that kind of made him felt part of a community. And this is kind of like that to me. And it's not anybody who set out to be just this big successful game that's on just about everything now. And he's making another version of it's not like this. It's sort of this style of game, but it's got a different setting altogether. But what I especially like about him is, even though he's this successful now and everybody says, oh, when's it going to be done? He says, well, it'll be done when it's done. And I can appreciate that. And especially since it's an indie developer, and it's not like some non-indie developers would say, when's it done? Well, I'm still busy sucking down the money. And him, it's just, well, he's working. We know who I'm talking about. And so long before there was an Animal Crossing, and when Terraria and Minecraft were in its infancy, the person who started the whole genre was Eric Baroni, and he was credited with that by Forbes magazine and a few others. And what I also appreciate him is unlike the governor of Florida, in the game, he doesn't care who you marry. And I said, that's really nice, so I appreciate someone with an open mind. I appreciate somebody who didn't start out to be bigger than big and kind of woke up one day and say, how many people bought this? So that is my first choice. Concerned Ape is the name of the company now.
That's a pretty good choice. I don't have a lot of time in Stardew Valley my own self, but I know a lot of people who do love it. So that is a good choice. All right, Thorsten, what do you got?
So my first pick is actually Mariusz Schwalber. Jacob, did I pronounce it right?
Can you write it down?
Who?
Mariusz is clear, and CHWALBA.
The developer behind Codera Software.
Right, I mean that one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Carry
We
on.
know him on Discord as Coder.
Yes.
Coder,
Okay,
yes.
okay, Jacob, you've got problems either. That's a treat. Okay, for those not knowing, he's a developer of Delta V Rings of Saturn, and that's a top-down asteroid mining simulation. You could call it a simulation, even if it's top-down. It's simulated down to the subsystems of the ship, and with all the right physics, and you can't really imagine what's going on in this game, and it's still playable. And I'm really impressed how much updates this game still gets, despite being released for 4 years now, 5 years.
Well,
4 years.
isn't it still in early? It's still in early access, right? I think.
Yes.
It's on early access still. Okay, I thought
Yes, it is.
I thought it's
Okay.
it's
I was about to have a panic attack because I'm like, did I miss another game going 1.0?
No, it is coming out soon, trademarked.
Whew, okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's been in early access a while, but yeah, he is like a lot of our other developers, a machine when it comes to updating his game.
Yes. Now, hilariously enough, the game was sort of promised to leave early access sometime last year. That didn't happen, but the updates haven't stopped.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
you know, I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, you get every so on an update, and sometimes weekly even. And I'm really impressed with all the work done so far. And I mean, he got an award from Winchell Chung's Atomic Rockets, an approval from the site. And that's not easy to get. I mean, you needed to keep it pretty realistic to get that award. And great, he's really a machine, and he's regularly on YouTube and doing streams when he tinkers around with the game. And wow, it's simply wow.
Yeah, he is insanely active, which is always great to see, you know, especially when you're interested in a game. It's great to see a very active developer. I love that. Yeah, I can't wait for his game to leave early access. I played I played a chunk of it. I didn't even intend that. I played a bit of it and I've liked it, but I'm letting it simmer, you know, because he keeps adding stuff. It's like, okay, I don't want to get into something and then all of a sudden everything's changed, you know. So, but it's great. It's great. So that is a good one. Jacob, what about you? What's your first pick?
Right. So the obvious choice here is, of course, the Tracy brothers of Star Traders fame. Though, of course, let me just run through their portfolio real quick. They have made the Star Traders series. They have made the Templar series. They have made Heroes of Steel. They have made Cyber Knights. They have started off as a mobile developer and a fairly competent one. And then they decided to expand further out. And their primary ability, their primary skill is the fact that they seem utterly incapable of sleep. And they keep printing out updates for their games in the literal hundreds.
Yeah, I think they're 315 now, I think.
315, yes, as of...
That's just for Star Traders Frontiers, yes.
Yes, that is just for Star Traders Frontiers, and they're currently working on their new game Cyber Knights, which will be somewhat, which from what I can tell is a cyberpunk game inspired somewhat by Shadowrun. It will be like a top-down isometric RPG, sort of Fallout Shadowrun, that sort of stuff. It's currently, Cyber Knights Flashpoint, as linked in the chat. And to those listening to the stream, well, that's what it's called. They keep putting out exceptional titles. They keep updating them constantly, and they keep always delivering excellent content. And despite starting off as mobile devs, they really always put out excellent value without any extra stuff. I don't think any of their games has anything resembling a DLC or microtransactions. Certainly not the PC ones, obviously. Even though I feel like funded expansions at this point would be justified, but if they insist on giving us content for free, I'm not going to stop them.
Yeah, they haven't done any DLC for their games, have they?
Nope, not one.
Yeah, but I don't think.
And they keep supporting them so many years after release, 7-8 years after, they're still getting updates.
Yeah, like didn't the first Star Traders game on like mobile just get an update recently? I think like within the last several months. I think
they keep updating, and it's prolific that they put out so many updates. And yeah, we've had them on the show before, and we should have them back on at some point. Especially because they just keep on putting out update after update after update.
I don't know how they do it. All right, David, what do you got?
Well, first of all, I've had some trouble getting my list together.
No worries.
So, yeah, like I've been in school quite a bit, and it has been a little bit stressful.
You're probably one of the. I mean, there are a few of us that are very busy, and there are a few of us that aren't so busy. So we're one of the busier ones of us. So don't worry about it.
All right. Well, my first pick is going to be Struman. However you say it, Struman Studio, which have made Idvine Servamancy, and well, they did make also. I should probably run back to that. They made also Space Hulk Deathwing and Necromunda most recently here. And the reason I picked them is that when they announced this game, I remember seeing the first trailers for the game. I was like, oh wow. This looks like there's EX, and about at the same time, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 months later after this. Yes, my legs are okay. I gained Brozoof. It's
a unique title.
Yeah, it's a very unique title. And Human Revolution was about to be released 2 or 3 months later. And I was looking at this like, I'm not going to buy Human Revolution. I will play this instead. This looks much better. Now that's a bad mindset to have when it comes to games, because Human Revolution was pretty damn good, if anything. But this was pretty damn interesting as well. Holy crap. I don't know what they were when they made this, but it is a weird game. So it has some of that cyberpunk madness in here. And
it's off-brand Warhammer 40,000 made by a bunch of French people by way of Brazil. Like Brazil? Yes. Featuring extremely bad English, a horribly convoluted plot, and some of the most insane and unhinged gameplay and gunplay I've seen in games ever.
Yes, to all above. And, well, if anything, this game was basically a way of to show that, they're interested in making Warhammer 40k games. Guess what they're doing now?
Making 40k games.
Yeah.
Now, both Space Hulk Deathwing is okay-ish.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but Necromunda was pretty. Yeah. Necromunda's pretty good.
Well, it's pretty solid.
I haven't played
Necromunda myself. I was going to reapply the obvious video here.
Yes.
That delightfully summarizes Divine Cybermancy.
I have no idea what I'm talking about there, Jacob. It's just the full auto and fuller auto. I see nothing wrong with that.
That's full auto and fuller auto.
I think I actually still need to play that game. I don't think I've actually played it.
You can play, what is it, like 20 people co-op at the same time or something like that. So yeah.
Dear Lord.
There's that as well.
Okay.
It's a weird game.
That's a lot of co-op. Yeah, I've heard it described as very, very French, and so, so that makes sense.
So yeah, that's gonna be my first pick because they had a vision and well they have reached it. If anything, I mean they're making what they want to. Now, how good their quality is or stuff like that, that is to be debated. But I'm happy for them that they got to do what they want, what they wanted to do with I Divine Cybermancy.
That is awesome. I think I need to play the game now. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. So my second pick, we're gonna do 2 picks today, everybody, because we're already half an hour and we've only done 1 pick, so we want to keep this to about an hour. So we'll do 2 today, and if we want to revisit this, we can do more later. So my second pick today is thank you for Jacob for helping me remember this one because I should have thought of it on my own. But Trevor Sorensen of Starfleet 2, because I don't know how he does it. This is basically his 3rd job. He has 3 jobs basically. He is a actual rocket scientist that works with NASA. He teaches at, I believe it's the University of Hawaii. He also, in his whatever time he has left, works on Starfleet 2 somehow. He's been working on this new version since 2018. And there's been, hundreds if not thousands of bug fixes, new features. I could go on and on about Starfleet 2. And we recently hit beta, so hopefully it'll come out probably in the next I keep saying the next couple of months, but we're getting closer. Like the latest beta, I haven't run into 1 problem with it, like 1, and I've played several hours of it, which is great. So now we just need to like clean up the documentation and a few other things, but yeah, this guy is a machine. And I just can't help but be impressed by, I could not do all the work he does. Like, I'd be like, I need to just watch my stories and just relax for a while. And he apparently has time for that because we share a love of murder mysteries. So we'll like talk about what we're watching lately. And he's watching this German show and I'm watching this British show and blah, blah, blah. And apparently he has the brain power to watch foreign language murder mysteries, which I do not. So multifaceted man is he, and I'm just continually impressed with how much work he's able to put into this game, plus his other 2 jobs, basically. That is my second pick. Spaz, what about you? What's your second pick?
Well, my second pick, I'm putting it in the chat right now, is Bob
yes.
of Ibology. And his game, well, it's not the only game he's made, but the game in particular I want to mention is Approaching Infinity. And if you have not played Approaching Infinity,
what are you doing?
Probably should.
What are you doing? Why are you even listening to this? Yeah. And you haven't even like go buy it. I don't care if it's on sale or not. Just go buy it right now. Right as you're listening to me talk, whether it's live or later, go buy Approaching Infinity right now because what are you doing?
Well, in our stream chat, I've also linked the Independent Space Alliance bundle, which is on Steam, and it was put together by people from our Discord, the devs on our Discord.
An amazing bundle,
and that includes both Delta V, Rings of Saturn, and Approaching Infinity. So, what's your excuse?
That isn't.
I mean, if you can't afford it, that's one thing. But if you can't afford it, and you're listening to our podcast, please buy this bundle.
Snag it.
That bundle has been at as cheap as $24, basically, and that's an insane amount. That's an insanely low amount for how many games are in this? 9? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 games in this bundle, and they're all great. Okay, I haven't played Take on Mars, but all the ones I have played are great. Helium Rain, Star Explorers, Rings of Saturn, which you just talked about, Solar Settlers, Star Singularity. These are all these are all great games. You know, this is an amazing bundle. Oh my God.
And it was put together by devs on our Discord, which is also a
astounding.
Nice thing for us. Yeah. I mean, we have 200
astounding.
space game devs on our Discord.
If you haven't joined our Discord yet, what are you doing? It's a great place.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a great place. We love our Discord.
It's our most active community.
It really is. And as much as I kind of miss forums because they're a little more permanent, and searchable, there is something to be said for the dynamic chat-based community of a Discord.
It just takes a lot of effort to maintain.
Well, yeah, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. I mean,
Absolutely worth it.
I mean, even if we got 10 times larger, I'd still want to do things manually like we do today. You know what I mean? So yeah, Discord is great. If you haven't joined yet, again, what are you doing? That is a great pick. Can't go wrong with that one. Julie, what's your second pick?
All right, my second pick. This one is at least a company that makes games set in outer space on planet 4546b. And I will link a couple of the things that first interested me in their games. There's the first one, Subnautica Below Zero. And here, let me get out this.
Wait, is Below Zero the expansion or the main game? I can never remember.
They're both neither one are an expansion. The first one that came out is Subnautica. They are both completely independent games. They just happen to be set on the same planet. So one is Subnautica Below Zero is set 2 years after the first game. After your character, well, if you played it all the way through, manages to get off the planet, and if you've played all the way through the credits, what I can appreciate, and this isn't so much as a podcast, as a spoiler, as an Easter egg most people miss is, since you're an employee, a lot of companies that say, well, if you did something while you're in our employ, what you did belongs to us. And so they say, all those gems you got while you were on that planet, well, you owe us. And we'll let you land after you pay us back. So this is a company called Unknown Worlds Entertainment. And like we talked about a little bit before the show started, it's not indie anymore. It has long since stopped being indie, but it started out indie as two guys, Charlie Cleveland and Max McGuire, and I will admit I know zip about either person. I do know they both started out as a group of developers who worked on mods for Half-Life. And ultimately, though, they came out with a casual game, which was really kind of meant to fund their other games, Zen of Sudoku, and their mods that were very popular. And ultimately, when they reached the point where they came out with, just before they came out with Subnautica, they came to the attention of Perfect World, and Perfect World says, wow, we really like what you're doing. How we're going to buy you? And at first it wasn't a controlling interest, and then later on it was. And then they sold them to the same people who crafted and who developed PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and Terra. But they started out as an indie studio. And ironically, though, I have autophobia, like really bad, and I won't get into it, but it's like people say, oh, you're afraid of Chevys? I say, yeah, I'm afraid of Chevys. It's a game where you're stranded on a water planet. They both are. And it was when I was young and everybody else said, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a nurse. Oh, I want to be a doctor. What do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a policeman. What do you want to be? I want to be an oceanographer like Jacques Cousteau. And so that's what first attracted me to this game. And it is, even on Switch, it is astoundingly beautiful.
I believe it.
And that's my pick.
That's a great one. Thorsten, what's your second pick?
My second pick is Petri Willemsen from Willemsen Studios, and he's a developer of Re-Entry, an orbital simulator. I link it in the chat. And this game is insanely realistic. It's basically the DCS of the early space programs.
I'm gonna be honest. I own it, and I'm intimidated as hell. I'm scared of it. I haven't played it yet.
Everyone is scared.
I know I need to. I know I need to cover it, but like I look at this, I'm like, ah.
No, everyone is scared of it. Seriously, it's insanely complicated, realistic, and it's basically a depiction of the early space program of the USA. It's still in early access, but it's nearing completion. Let's put it that way. It's the current version is 0.9.5 or something like that, and I I don't want to scare you, Brian.
I'm gonna cover it eventually. It's just I have to accept the fact that I'm going to look like an idiot while I play this. Like, what's this button do? Yeah, I'm just gonna be the biggest moron playing this game. Gonna be a pack led.
Oh God,
Brian, you love manuals, and there are a lot of manuals you can print out. Seriously,
there is a manual.
One manual. There are several.
Oh God, yeah, right. There is. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. But
oh my God.
What happened in the 3 years since I own the game is nearly insane. I bought it when you could barely play the Mercury program, and shortly after they added the Gemini program, and now you could play it. You could play the Apollo program, complete with moon landings, doing EVAs, and all the stuff. Insanely complex.
Okay, you guys. There are 7 manuals. There are 7 manuals. There are.
I don't want to scare you, Brian.
There's one quote unquote game manual, 4 flight manuals, and 2 mission control manuals.
Consider me interested.
I do love reading manuals. That is true. I do love reading manuals. So my God, this is I am okay.
There are two types. There are 2 types of people. Oh, there's 7 manuals. What the hell? And oh, there's 7 manuals. Go on.
Great,
yeah.
great, yeah.
I will admit I am more the latter than the former. But still, I'm still a little intimidated. But knowing there are 7 manuals makes me actually feel a little better. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I thought the latter would be only 7.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Only 7. Where's the strategy guide?
God.
You might need one. You might need one. No, seriously, I'm impressed. And all this is done by one person, and he puts out updates after update after update in a weekly, bi-weekly ratio, and every update is meaningful, or better, most.
Yeah, he puts out.
Sometimes there are just small bug fixes, but generally it's mostly content addition.
Yeah, it's obvious that he puts in the work. Obvious, and it's really fantastic. And yeah, Fernando, the game is too realistic. I don't know, man. People love this sort of thing. People love DCS and whatnot. So people love this sort of give me all the switches to flip type of thing. Like if you miss one switch, I'm going to be mad. So yeah, exactly. Keep counting them damn rivets.
This is a sort of game where Brian would be on stream, and then there would be 6 or 7 of us in the chat going through the manuals and telling him what to do.
Yeah, basically.
That is basically what the stream is going to be. Like, I know I'm going to stream this. I spent the last week reading all the manuals, so I at least read the manuals, and then when the stream comes, like, just looking at, like, okay, guys, you need to help me here. You guys are
CSS mission control.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys are gonna be my mission control, basically.
I want to mention that you could that you could play mission control in multiplayer.
Oh damn! Oh damn!
Possible.
Oh damn! Okay, well, that's probably going to be a LAN party at some point. It's going to be that.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's keep talking and nobody explodes.
It's going to be it's either going to be it's going to be either a very lengthy series or the shortest LAN party we'll ever have. One way or
keep talking and try to get off the ground.
Okay, what do? Flip this switch. I flipped it. No, the other switch. No. I did flip that one. No, the other one. It's going to be the whole stream. No, that one. No. Gonna be the whole thing. Oh man, no,
that's my pick.
So no, that's a good pick because I know of the game, but I am legitimately terrified of this game, like legitimately terrified of it, and I'm surprised it's on VR. Actually, it looks like it could be a VR game. Maybe at some point it will be, but it looks like it could be. I guess. VR
is supported.
Oh, it is.
Or better should be supported. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know VR was supported. That's really great. Overwhelmingly positive reviews too, y'all. That's pretty impressive, especially for an early access title. That is great. All right, Jacob, what do you got?
Well, I've got two options that I'm thinking of, and I think I'll go for one that's slightly less. Sorry. So I'm here to talk about a gentleman that calling himself Mazalud on the internet. Of Aerodynam Industries, the developer of Nebulous Fleet Command.
Oh, man.
Why? Because it's a game so insane that Brian completely bounced off of it, and I love it. So that should tell you all you need to know about how unhinged it is. But it is an excellent three-dimensional tactical combat game about spaceships blowing each other up, using genuinely interesting and advanced combat techniques, radar and sensor management, extremely intricate ship design, like the best ship designer in my humble opinion ever. With a massive variety of builds, with a huge variety of interesting options. They've added an entire second faction, by the way, in one of the recent updates. So now you don't no longer just have mirror matches all the time. You genuinely have to, think asymmetrically. You have to engage in asymmetrical warfare, either as a technologically advanced but militarily straightforward faction, or as a bunch of rebels operating converted warships, but using crazy and unheard of tactics like mines and container missiles and all sorts of other nonsense that is utterly just staggering. Yes. And for military nerds like me, it is of course perfection. It is the perfect game for people who love fiddling. If you're a professional fiddler, poor choice of words, if you enjoy fiddling, slightly better choice of words, like me, you will love this game because you can adjust things ever so slightly always, and things can just work so well in a perfect infinite rock paper scissors matchup, where except it's not rock paper scissors, it's about 57 different things on each side that all can kind of sort of counter one another. It's absolutely brilliant, it's absolutely brilliant. It's $20 USD on Steam. It's dirt cheap. Love it.
Yeah, it's an amazing game that I might. Oh God,
the community is spectacular.
Thinking about playing that game gives me a headache. I'm not even kidding. It is
a great game that is totally not for Brian.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cover it at some point. I know. I'm just gonna go.
I'll do my best to help.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in knowing that I'm gonna be terrible at it, and just hopefully I show that it's not the game, it's me. When I play it.
Have me for comparison.
Yeah, maybe sweet. Yeah, maybe I'll have you on voice with me, like I'll screen share and you'll like be there with me. Like maybe that's how we'll have to do it. I don't know.
That is probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be how it has to happen. All right, David, why don't you close us out?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back to what Julie started here.
By the way, sorry, we got everybody, right? I'm not forgetting anyone. We got everyone, right? I think we got everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. All right, so David, yeah, you're gonna close this out.
Yeah. So I'm going back to what Julie started here with everyone's shooting space games, and now everyone have talked about space games, and I'm going back to Mother Earth here. So I don't know. Well, then I'm gonna talk about the developer that made me do something with my life. Now that didn't quite work out, and all in all, that's SGJ software that made the very famous Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator.
Fantastic
They actually
games. Fantastic.
they actually
games.
inspired me to take my truck driver license, which I still have today.
Oh wow.
And I drove trucks around here in Stockholm 2018 to 2021, something like that. And it didn't work out. But I've heard from a lot of people that I were pretty good at my job. So yeah, even computer nerds can drive trucks, I say. But yeah, it's pretty interesting also to see where SCS were before they made Euro Truck Simulator 2, because apparently they knew nothing about trucking at all. They had no idea how it worked, and they had done some trucking games before Euro Truck Simulator 2. I mean, it is the second game after all. But none of them turned out like this one just did. So they made a lot of research, went to conventions or trucking demos and stuff, where they learned a lot how trucks works and stuff. Very interesting to read up on how they actually got to this, and then deliver this game, which they have kept updating all these years later. I mean, this was released back in 2012, and yeah, they're still at work with it. And there was another game that they delivered as well here. As once again, they want to work with trucking games. They need to make an American truck simulator, which they did. Now, that game didn't quite turn out to be the hit that they expected. So, developer has been pretty slow with that one. They're trying to add each state slowly but surely to the game. But something cool happened early in its life cycle. One of the earlier, I don't know which states was in the game at that point, but I think it was Nevada and California or something like that. And there recently had been an accident with a rockfall on the road somewhere in Nevada. And what did they do? They read the news and then closed down that route in game to reflect what actually happened in real life. Which I think is pretty cool, if anything.
That's terrific. I gotta say.
So they actually had to reroute traffic. So they're really interested in the trucking business, and yeah, they're watching the news. They want to learn more, and I think that's to be applauded.
I gotta say, I got nothing but love for Euro Truck Sim 2. I load it up every now and again just to do a run or two, and it's actually the game that got me to buy a gamepad for the first time. Like, I never owned a gamepad before Euro Truck Sim 2.
All right.
Got me to get a gamepad just to steer properly. Yeah. Wait, what?
I know, Fernando. I know. A thing happened.
What happened? I mean, I know we're talking about a Russia DLC. Are they not going to put it out now?
I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. So I don't know if we're gonna talk about politics here. So, but yeah, that was a thing.
But the DLC they've released for it, besides all the paint packs and stuff, they've actually released quite a bit of DLC for Euro Truck Sim 2 and American Truck Sim, and it's all great. It's all just absolutely terrific. So.
I wish I had known about this game in the middle of the pandemic, because it was like, wow, you can go someplace without ever leaving the house.
Yeah, that's why I don't really care much about the American one, because I've driven across most of these states. But like Europe, yeah, I've never been to Europe. I'll drive across Europe in a virtual Europe in a truck. That's great.
I can see my house from here.
And I gotta say, it's quite a trip to go from Sweden to Spain and then go to Britain. It's a pretty cool trip to do. Lots of changes in scenery.
One thing I love that they allow you to do is save en route. Like if you gotta stop playing for whatever reason, you can just save and leave and come back and just resume your route. Like they didn't have to do that, but they did, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, they are a terrific developer. No question there. And we're just under the hour mark. That's great. Well done, guys. So that's going to do it. Yeah, so that's good. That's going to do it for today. Next week is up in the air. We were supposed to have a developer a few weeks ago, but then I was an idiot. And so I have to reschedule them. So hopefully we're going to have them back on next week. But if not, we'll do a topic. So we'll still have something. So next week is up in the air. And tomorrow is also up in the air because I'm actually leaving the house today and going to see people. So I don't know if there's going to be a stream tomorrow. So we'll see. But one way or another, we'll see you probably on Friday for Gunship 2000. Very excited about that. And thank you, chat. Like Thorsten just said, thank you, everyone in the chat. Very active chat today. Love to see it. And thank you to all, not just the devs we talked about today, but if we didn't single you out today, don't fret. We still love you. Thank you especially to all the devs who work hard on making the games that we love. So thank you all. Even if we didn't mention you specifically today, that doesn't mean we don't love you. So thank you. And thank you, as always, to our patrons. We love you especially for helping keep the lights on around here. And thank you, as always, to everyone who's gotten vaccinated. Oh, my God. If you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, for the love of the prophets, Odin, Zeus, whichever deity you want to believe in, please go get vaccinated. Can't believe I have to keep saying this. But please, for the love of whatever, go get vaccinated if you haven't yet. Because we need to get through this. Join the Vax Squad, yes. Because if you don't get vaccinated and you get COVID, you can end up in the hospital, damage your internal organs, have long COVID, which could be even more damaging. So please, COVID is no joke. It's not the flu. It's much, much worse. So please get vaccinated, if you haven't already. My God. 2 for the protection of Bajor. Yes. Bajords would get vaccinated. Absolutely, they'd get vaccinated, especially if the prophets told them to. Absolutely. I'm sure Kira would have gotten all the vaccinations. So be like Kira, one of the best characters in all of Star Trek. Be like Kira and get vaccinated. Have a great one, everyone. Be safe, be well, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
That's a weird way to end it. Like I'm on the phone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.